Hi, my name is Lawrence. I'm an occupational therapist and I'm here with Sensory Sumo. Today, I'm joined with my good friend Elmer Mendoza, and we're going to talk about the tips to travel with your kid who has autism. So, Elmer, give us a checklist or a rundown on your tips to be able to help parents being travel
Oh,
with kids who have autism.
okay. Well, I think as I always say, my disclaimer. This is just our experience. I don't say that this is the best way or the only right way to do it, but it works for us. So I hope that this will help you too. That's why we want to share our experience. My son before doesn't love to travel. He hates to travel. He doesn't like the plane. He doesn't like to stay in the plane for a long time. Even in the car, he doesn't like to travel.
Mm.
But I mean, travel is part of our life, right? Lawrence, you cannot just remove it.
Right,
We have
exactly.
family somewhere. You have to travel. I have families in the Philippines that I need to visit to once
Mhm.
in a while. So um, it's tough at first because before we're new parents. We don't know how to handle kids with autism and with behaviors and sensory needs.
Yeah.
And when we start to travel, Yuan is like showing like tantrums and stuff. So based on my experience for the past 9 years, I have some tips for you guys. Number one, I guess, is like when you're trying to travel, the number one tip is always pre-plan your trip.
Mm.
What do I mean by that? Imagine that you're already traveling tomorrow.
Yeah.
So before you travel, imagine already what are the things that you need, what location you are going into, and if there's an emergency, what are the things that you are looking for, focusing on Yuan's needs.
Mm.
Because you don't want to go travel without any plans, because imagine you have a special kid. So you
Mm.
want it to make it like more smooth and like friendly or a good experience for him.
Mm.
So pre-plan. And when me and my wife pre-plan, the first thing that we're gonna do is like, of course, you're gonna do your itinerary, right?
Mhm.
All right, day 1 to 15, you already you already put that on the list. Of course, number one is your plane ride, airline. For example, if you're gonna travel overseas or even out of state using an airplane, you have to check your airline. What are the programs that they have that supports or at least caters the needs of special kid? Do they have like pre-boarding, or or options for kids with disability, if they could just go to the plane first or last? Because it depends on what kind of kid you have. Some kid doesn't want to wait, some kid doesn't want a lot of people. So you gotta figure it out, how to navigate that, and the only person who knows that is you, right? So you call the airline, check if they have special accommodation available for your son or for your daughter. Second, of course, is the hotel, right? You have to uh, in my experience, I will always call the hotel and informing them I'm traveling with a kid with special needs, and my son have sensory needs and also some behaviors, right? So I always request for the highest floor near the elevator, so that we don't have to really walk longer. And my son has like this sensory that he wants to be like elevated, and he's happy for that. So we always do that. And now Yuan loves to go to the hotel, because he loves to be on the top floor, and of course with the swimming pool.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. Um, Another thing is, talk to your doctor if there are like medications that might be helpful for your son to be more calmer or to feel at ease, that will have medication that will help him to feel at ease while on travel, especially on the plane ride. um like going to the Philippines is like 16 hours, so or 14, to the fastest is 14.
So you're very
So
trained in this. You're very well versed in being
mhm.
able to kind of help your
Yep,
son
yep,
stay in their
yep.
seat for 16 hours. Because you can't
Yeah.
do
So
jacks, you can't do like the deep pressure sensory brakes on the plane. It's like there's
no,
no space.
no, and Yuan has like during back then, Yuan has like an attention span of 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, a minute, not 10 minutes, a minute.
Right.
And then being staying in one place in 10 minutes. So how will you navigate that? How will you get an
Yeah.
assistant to be okay with that 16 hours flight?
Yeah. How did you
So
do that?
I can't do anything because that's my son. So that's why
Right.
I said talk to your doctor. Maybe the doctor could help to give you some medication for him to be a little bit calmer, sleepy.
Mhm.
In our case, I think we tried Benadryl before when he was really young, but
Right.
when he as he grows up, we have like this medication which is like we called Ativan
Right.
that
Always
really
do it
calm.
when the doctors prescribe.
Yeah, and it should be prescribed by the doctor, the approved by your doctor. Every kid is different. There may be kids that doesn't need it, but in our case, it's good to check with your doctor because the doctor will not recommend something that is bad or not helpful.
Mhm.
So go when you're about to before you go to travel, give your pediatrician a call just to check on them. Maybe what you know ask them what could help your son to be at ease,
Mhm.
especially with kids with sensory, like heavy sensory issues, right? you
Right.
know I mean, too much going on, too much noise, just the plane itself is already like you know already painful for them if they have like sensory issues. So medication is one thing. The second thing is, I think, bring in our case we bring toys, new item that will catch his attention. And usually we go to dollar store or the cheap store.
Mhm.
Like my wife always go there to get 20 items of toys, which is like $1 each, so
Mhm.
that when he starts to get get uneasy or bored, we get a new toy, and then after 10 minutes get another new toy. Or food also. Bring
Mhm.
his favorite food so that he could feel comfortable in the plane like home, so that um he'll gonna that's also helps. We also show them, my son, I also show them the videos of the things that we're going to do before the travel, so that he has this idea of, oh, what's going to happen when we leave the house. You know what I mean? Because kids in the spectrum sometimes really, oh, but not sometimes, most of the time, hate surprises. So when they have the idea of what's going to happen next, the less behaviors you're going to see. What else? Don't forget to bring extra clothes.
Mhm.
Don't forget to bring his medication.
Mhm.
Uh, and don't forget to bring extra clothes. Don't forget to bring his medication. And then if you have families that are um, not coming, or relatives that gonna stay on, tell them that you're traveling,
Right.
so that if in case of emergency you can call them, or at least somebody knows where you are, and you have somebody to call if in case of emergency.
Yeah. So you have the contact information on your phone, kind of on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Contact everyone. Do you
Mm-hmm.
contact the airline too prior to going on the plane? Do you let them know your situation?
Yes, that's why I said like call the airlines first, because I always ask for the special accommodation, because it really helps.
Do you get like special seating or
There are, on my experience, there are like airlines that provide free like seating that are near the window. You can ask for a near the window because Yuan loves near the window, so they
yeah,
could arrange that unless it's fully booked. You
right.
can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
But as long as they know that you're traveling with a kid with special needs, they already gonna tag you and on their system so that they could help you.
right.
And most of the times, the kids are always go on board at first. So
Mhm.
even Yuan is already 9 years old or 10, we could still go
Mhm.
go first.
Mhm.
And there are times that we want to go last, depending on what kind of airplane. So you could tell the airline, um, it depends on what your kid's preference, because we every kid is different. As they age, they change their behavior. So, but I think that the tip is always call them ahead
Yeah.
of time. Yeah.
What toys do you bring, or what tools do you bring? Do you bring a weighted blanket? Do you bring a fidget? Do you bring putty with you, or headphones, noise canceling headphones?
Yes. Yuan is before Yuan is wearing the canceling noise canceling headphones or earmuffs,
Mhm.
but now now he can tolerate without it, so we're good. But if your kid has like that kind of sensory issues, yeah, go ahead and bring an earmuff with you, because
Mhm.
especially when the plane is taking off or going down, that's
Mhm.
when when it's really hard for them. Yuan loves fidgety toys and like things that has lights on it that lights up. So in a dollar store is a good store to go when you want to get like cheap and disposable toys that you want to bring on the plane. My
Mhm.
wife always pack his favorite snacks like marshmallows, cereal, um, crackers, bread. That he's a carb kid, so he loves carbs. So we're gonna pack it in a small portions so that when he's getting bored or putting tantrums, that can save you, some time, so that he just make him busy. Whatever makes him busy and whatever makes him happy on
Mhm.
your travel, because the goal is to make the travel enjoyable for him,
Right.
and at least tolerable in terms of like sensory input.
Yes.
Um, um, what else?
Yeah.
I
What
think
else do you do prior to the flight? Do you have him walk around the airport so he's a little tired and he's
well
stretched?
the walk already is tiring, so I don't have to walk him because he's
Yeah.
actual. How when you travel international or even domestic, the walk is already tiring for him. So
Mhm.
um, and I don't he doesn't need extra. But if your kid needs extra like that, feel free to go early.
Right. And I know for some kids too, it's important to front load them, like have a social story about letting them know, hey, we're going on a plane ride. This is what to expect. This is how long the plane ride's going to be. Is this what we'll be doing during the plane ride?
Hmm.
It's just important for them to get that. And also, if they have a routine, if you could stick with the routine, would be really good to some extent, right? You can't really um, do certain things like going out to the park if you're going on a plane ride, but the routines you have at home, like when you brush your teeth, you stick with that. Like the time you brush your teeth, the time you eat,
Hmm.
you stick with the
Hmm.
routine and you don't switch that because that helps that transition.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think it's possible if you're traveling domestic, but when you're traveling international, time difference is your enemy,
yeah.
and the routine is gonna be really disrupted. Will be
So
distracted,
plan
and
some
this
time for the
disrupt.
adjustment when you get back before you do.
I think the key is, yeah, show him a video or a story, pictures before the trip. How the way we do it's like a week before the trip we're already telling you, and you want we're gonna travel, you want we're gonna go to the plane. All right, hey, well, and then the next day again, you want, look at the calendar, we're gonna travel, here's where we're gonna go. Look at
Expecting
my
it.
so that as the day goes close, as the the traveling date is that getting closer,
Mhm.
you're building him up already for that expectation that, oh, there's gonna be a big trouble coming up, that oh, here we go again, I need at first probably the first travel of your kid that will not work, but probably the succeeding travels, that social story, those videos or pictures that you're going to show him before you travel will going to help him to really expect something, and you're going to see less behaviors and
Yeah.
struggles.
How big's the bag that you bring with all the tools and the equipment? Like that
So
you.
my wife has this blue duffel bag,
Uh huh.
and it's just for Yuan.
Right.
That's just for you. And the big,
What's the brand, Elmer, so our viewers could try to get?
well, I think it's Adidas or Fila. I think,
Yes, it
those
doesn't have
duffel
to be
bags
a
that,
fitting.
you don't have to, just a duffel bag so that you can easily squish in on the airplane. Don't get
Yeah.
those big, because
I,
the
I,
duffel bags, you can stretch it, you can just stick it inside the cabin or whatever.
right, right. I would suggest a duffel bag with pockets, multiple pockets, so you could organize the certain
Mhm.
tools that you have. I'm not sure which duffel bag has. I think Nike has a duffel bag with different pockets, but Adidas as well. Or
Mhm.
even just like a backpack that's like organized really well, because then you have different pockets for different things, and it reduces your stress too when you're looking for tools. It's organized so that you could just grab it and give it to your
Yeah.
child. So
Oh yeah, I have another thing to say. I don't know. Every parent is different, but
mhm.
in my case, when we're traveling and I see ugly faces, like, not ugly faces, but people that are like kind of like wondering what's going on with my son,
Right,
especially
right,
when my son is throwing tantrums, I
right,
go straight to them and I tell them, hey, I'm traveling with my special kid,
right.
than just saying nothing, because it won't help you as a parent if you don't say anything. They thought that your kid is a normal kid that's just like a bad boy,
Right.
on the aisle. It helps me because when every time I say that to them that, oh, I have a special kid, son traveling with me, and I always say I love him so much, then the hate,
Response. Yeah.
what do you call this, the ignorance to
Mhm.
the confusion in their faces and the hate subsides, and it turns into like more compassion and love towards you and your son. So
Right.
it helps us a lot to kill that,
Yeah. I would
wondering.
say education, because I think a lot of
So,
the people don't really mean to be mean.
yeah,
They just don't know.
they
So
just don't know, they're not bad person, they just don't know what's happening. They have this kind of expectation, oh, this kid is just a normal kid and just throwing bad behaviors. But the moment that you educate them and tell them straightly that, I mean not every parent is like, I'm not suggesting this is the way you go to when you're traveling, but every parent is different. But in my case, that works for me automatic. If I go to public places and they see my son is acting a little bit, differently, I already tell them, hey, I have a special kid. And you're gonna see their faces,
mhm, mhm.
they change, yeah, the faces, their faces gonna change. It's gonna a little bit, it will gonna lighten up, and you'll get see more compassion
Right.
and love to your son by just, telling them, or by just educating them. I
Right.
mean, at first, when my experience before the first few travels, I kind of like hesitant and also shy.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, real experience to say that I have a special kid, but
Mhm.
actually that's not helping me and my wife during travel.
Right.
But the moment that I'm trying to be like honest and be more on a educating them, on that side of educating them, what's going on, what's my situation. The more I see positive response from people, the more that I see like compassion towards you on, the more care and love, and you get more support in the community than not telling anything about your son.
Right. Right. And I know some airports also have like some sensory rooms for to give your kids a break. That's not
Mm-hmm.
busy, not as noisy. A lot of the things that are going on in the airport, there's so many things going on, even just waiting in the security line. I'm sure there's a way where you could bypass. You could probably do like the quick check in, or the I know here in the
Oh,
U.
that's good. Well, since you mentioned that,
Mhm.
oh, before, good thing that you mentioned that, because I almost forgot it. So we are signed up for a global entry
Yes. Yeah.
pass. So all of us, like me, my wife, and my three kids, including Yuan,
Hmm.
are TSA pre-check travelers. What is that? It's like what is that TSA pre-check travelers? Um, there's like a line, like a priority line, that once you're already in that program, you don't have to remove your shoes, your belt.
Hmm.
So it's really easy for you on to just pass through the line, especially on, passing through the immigration line. I find it so helpful. I think for global entry, because we're traveling abroad, so I think it's $100 for good for 5 years,
Wow.
but you have to really file an application online, and they have to interview you
Mm.
on their border office, like the California, the I
The
forgot the
Yeah.
yeah not immigration but the border, what, how do you call that, border, California border, U.S. Custom and Border Protection. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to Google it. I'm like, it's in on the top.
Something along those lines.
So
Yeah.
U.S. Custom and Border Protection. So they're gonna schedule for an interview. So we did the interview, each of us,
Mm.
and after the interview, they're gonna and you pass their interview. You don't have any criminal record. You're not a mafia. You're not selling whatever illegal something. And
Yeah.
then once they already background check you and you got screened, then you're going to be in the program. And
Mm.
that's good for 5 years. So me, every one of us has it. So when we go travel, we that program also includes the TSA. You're already approved for TSA, so we don't have to go to the regular line, and that really helps a lot, especially for kids with families that's traveling with kids with autism or disabilities, because you don't have to remove your shoes and socks. You don't have to remove your belts,
Yeah.
and that really helps a lot.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, if your kids can't wait in long lines or have a lot of visual or auditory sensitivities or defensiveness, you can sign up for that because then it reduces the time that they're
Mm.
in that environment. That's really good. The busyness, because
But
you get really busy in the airport.
yeah, and that program is not for disabled. That program is open for everyone. Once you qualify, you're good for 5 years
Right.
with the TSA too, pre-check that's included on
Yeah,
that
it's really
program.
good. How about for food? Because I know like it's always so important for them to eat food that's
So
good.
for Yeah, so for food, we don't rely on the food that the airline is giving to us,
Yeah.
especially for Yuan. He has his own food every time we travel. So we already pre-cook whatever. If it's 16 hours drive, we already have the food on the bag.
Mhm. How do
Sometimes
you
we
do that through the is a TSA pre not look at it as well if you
oh, they scan it and they're gonna just say, oh, my kid has special needs, and those are the food that he needs
right.
on the travel. They will see it. They will when once you have food on the bag, they will check it. If your kid, if it's all pre-packed, like the one that you buy from grocery stores, like those favorite crackers, favorite like mac and cheese that already, you just need water and microwave it. That's easy. It's not a big deal with them,
Mhm.
unless you're not bringing out some, like bringing in some like
Like
seeds or
homemade
stuff,
right, right.
seeds or but yeah, Yuan has his own set of food. Yuan loves rice and adobo, so we have some food on the bag for him, just for him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
I think we covered a lot of information here with the things that you need in order to be successful in traveling with your child that has autism. So, are there any last tips and suggestions that you want to share with our audience today?
Yes. I think for me and my family, traveling is an important thing, part of Yuan's life. I
Right.
think traveling is one tool, or not one tool, one way for Yuan to learn more new things,
Hmm.
like to learn. He has this way of learning when he travels, but the thing is, like, sometimes kids with autism doesn't have the same capacity or tolerance.
Yeah.
So as a parent, we try to navigate all your options in order for your son to enjoy travel.
Right.
You know, um, don't be afraid to bring your kids outside.
Hmm.
I mean, it's you. The more you bring them out of the world, the more they become more normal. The more learning they could relate
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yuan doesn't learn like um like words by pictures, but actually by actually he learns by actually seeing them, relating them, create put meaning into something that they see.
Mm.
So traveling is, I know it's tough bringing your son outside, but if you want your son to be um, I mean to be more, what do you call it, to be more not normal, but to
To be able to
to
handle the social structure,
yeah.
able to go places and
Oh,
more.
my son is not social, but he can understand now what's going on around the
Right.
world.
He's
He
more
knows that.
integrated in society,
Yeah,
more involved and engaged.
yeah, like he's not afraid hopping into an airplane because of travel. We
Right.
already travel, so he's enjoying it. He's not
It
afraid of.
desensitizes him from that, and he's more used to it instead of just keeping him safe and secured.
Yeah, I mean, bring them out. Don't worry about the stress, because it's worth it once it's already part of their system or part of their life.
Hmm.
And plus, um you need a break too. You want to travel, right?
You want to
You,
go
you don't want to
places?
just stay at home and just you know you know
Yeah.
do your you need to travel no matter what. So
Right.
make it as an opportunity for you to go out, and at the same time for your kids to enjoy.
Enjoy, see the world, see what's ahead, and what's out there. Yeah, as much as we want them to keep within routine, once in a while, it's also good to go out of routine and then go back to routine. It's good to for everyone's mental health, for everyone's health in general, to be able to do that and travel. So good point, Elmer.
And be intentional too. Like travel could be an educational like a educational kind of like educational tour for your kid.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know I can able to teach you on new things just for traveling. I could introduce different things, items, animals that we see on our travel, like different cars. He's into cars and trucks, so I could show him like the world, and in that way he's enjoying it.
yeah, absolutely.
So
It's a sensory experience for him. It's like the world is a sensory lab where he gets to explore his environment and gets to adjust and regulate himself, and gives him opportunities to get, to see something that's maybe too loud or something that he's unpleasant with. But then he's able to train himself to be able to regulate himself back so that he could handle himself in certain
mhm.
situations.
And not only for like traveling overseas or even domestic, even like a simple going out to the store or to a grocery store, bring them out, because that's how the way they will learn to live normally. I
Right.
mean, used to be not into grocery store, but every time I go to the grocery, my wife was so patient for with him. He always brings you on down from the car to go to Safeway. And now Yuan loves to go to Safeway because he's getting a small box of rice with orange chicken. Now
Yeah.
he's enjoying going to Safeway. Now we can able to bring Yuan to Safeway. But of course, it needs practice. It needs a lot of patience. But he's learning that there's a place that you could call grocery,
Yeah.
grocery supermarket that you can
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
That
And
is actually a
you can
learning
learn
already,
something after. Yeah.
and get a reward after doing that.
Right.
So
Maybe
I
your
mean,
next video could be with a behavior analyst or an ABA therapist, because I think that's a really good segue into that and kind of help
mhm.
and creating that schedule, creating that positive reinforcement schedule for him, and or for your child in order for them to be successful in
and
different.
yeah, and then take pictures, because what one way that the way we do it's like I take pictures with Yuan with me on the supermarket the first time or second time, and
Mhm.
then I compile it on my Google Drive. So every time I have to go back, I'll show it. Yuan, we're gonna get we're gonna go to the grocery. We're gonna get the rice and the orange chicken, and look who's excited. You
Yeah.
want before a kid that doesn't want to go to the grocery store, now he loves it. Why? Because we keep on bringing them out,
Yeah.
and setting helping them to discover new things and new routines,
Hmm.
and that's the only way they can learn. That's the way they can learn. new things, not in just inside the classroom.
Absolutely. Well, Elmer, it's always such a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for all the tips. And thank you for watching. For those of you that are watching, stay subscribed to our channel, like this video, and share it to your friends because we have more information to share with everyone. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.